it's not easy. Like, I'm not okay. Like, I'm not healed. And I don't know if anybody can really become 100% healed, but I'm here and I made it, and you can make it too. I've been asked this a lot. Yellow isn't one of my most favorite colors. It's probably on my least favorite list. But when I was trying to decide what color to use to represent such a delicate part of myself, yellow just kind of fell onto the canvas. Yellow represents hope. It's like the light at the end of the tunnel. Even though it's not consistently there, you know it's in the background. My name is Torre Marie, and this is my story. I was sexually abused from the age of 3 until 22, ongoing and by various different people. So my earliest memory that I can think of was abusive in one way, shape, or form. I had a cousin that was sexually abusive. I had a close family friend that abused me and others I knew. And when it was discovered that, I mean, I didn't blow the whistle on him, his daughters did. And so when I found out that he had been caught, I had no idea how many people he had victimized. But I'm pretty sure that I was probably one of the first ones, and so there was a lot of guilt. I felt a lot of the blame for everyone else behind me. So I mean, I experienced it pretty consistently from an early age on until, and that's kind of why I was kind of a difficult child. So everybody was so busy trying to figure out what was wrong with me rather than if anything had happened. It wasn't that I knew something was abnormal. It didn't feel, I don't know how to explain it. I guess it's like a gut feeling, right, where you are like, it's not right, but you know, this is someone bigger than you, and everybody I mean, every abuser in my life was someone that I trusted, and it was someone bigger than me. And you know, you're not supposed to say no to adults. They're not supposed to hurt you. They're not, you know, they're there to protect you, etc., etc. So I don't know, my gut feelings, I always was trying to shut them off because they contradicted what I was being taught, right? So I didn't actually have an understanding that anything was abnormal or wrong until I was in grade 5 or 6 and during school. So we had our little lesson about sexual abuse, and that's where I figured it out, that it was wrong. So, and then after that, I understood why we had the secrets and why we couldn't talk about it and why it was so hush hush. I first disclosed when I was 17, and the person I disclosed to then became an abuser. It's definitely different in the light.
Yeah.
I'm used to coming here when it's like pitch black, right? I don't know, the first time that I got brought here is after we had a conversation in a laundromat that basically started everything turning into something that was really inappropriate. I mean, they pressed charges against her a few years back. However, the charges got stayed. And so in her mind, that means she's innocent. And I mean, she still has a lot of control in my life because she has my oldest child. So, so there's a lot of fear about talking about it because I still have to deal with this person at least once a month when I get to see my boy. But it's important because I don't think people realize that women do this too. And counselors, therapists, I mean, she went to school to be a psychologist, right, to counsel people. Yeah. And she used her education to be manipulative and to completely suck me in so far that, I mean, it took probably 5 years after I was moved out of her home to realize what had happened. And I would defend her until, I finally got it and I could see. And honestly, I mean, our relationship was amicable to an extent until I understood the extent. And then once you understand what happens, it's almost like undoing the damage is more painful than experiencing it to begin with. Because I think when you're ignorant, truly ignorant to what's going on, you don't feel the damage that's being done. In February of 2015, I overdosed. I had an intentional overdose of prescription over-the-counter medications, which landed me in the ICU. So, and actually I overdosed twice in a 24-hour period. I was taken into the hospital by a friend with my first overdose, which wasn't lethal. But definitely alarm bells should have been going off. But the psychiatrist saw me and sent me home. And less than 12 hours later, actually, I overdosed again, lethal dose. And I don't remember a lot of it. What I've been told is I was on the phone with my traumatologist when the police found me. They tracked me by tracking my phone and found me. And they didn't know if I would make it. I had no feeling in my legs. They didn't know if I'd ever regain movement in my legs again. It was definitely an interesting ride, and I was not happy to be alive when I came out of it. And the same psychiatrist released me from the ICU with unstable vitals. It was just over 24 hours after I was admitted, and that was because he refused to treat me for PTSD. Until I actually understood what had happened and started dealing with it, I thought I lived a pretty normal life. I couldn't really hold a job very well, and I didn't understand that what I was experiencing was anxiety. I've lived, pretty poverishly my entire adult life after I left my abuser, so that's definitely been a challenge. And as things have progressed and I've worked on myself, then my symptoms have kind of gotten worse over time, and so I dissociate a lot. I have flashbacks a lot, which now I'm on disability, so I'm not able to work. I don't handle crowds, so my kids miss out on some things because I'm not able to take them, out to the cool little things they have around in the community. I hadn't ever picked up a paintbrush until 2012, and I really didn't paint much even then. It wasn't until I overdosed, actually, that I started kind of trying that as an outlet. And I do a lot more sketches than I do paintings, but the Yellow Dress series started in September because the end of September, I actually overdosed again. And was just like in a desperate place where I just needed to like release these emotions and be able to express myself without having to verbalize what was going on for me. So I painted a girl free falling in the sky, and it was really dark, but it was really meaningful, and it was exactly what I felt like at that moment. Like, I was free falling and I had no idea if I was going to make it. It's a literal journey through all this hell. The girls are silhouettes, and they represent shame. Shame is, I am bad, I am disgusting, I am unworthy, I am unlovable. That's what they represent. You know, trauma is a scary thing for all those on the outside. But what people need to realize is trauma is even more so a scary thing for the ones who are going through it. It's really interesting to feel confined. Confinement, mental confinement, and physical confinement. Between the two, mental is way worse. And it destroys like a different part of you, because you have to destroy yourself in order to keep quiet. Canada has this blinders on. We need to work collectively all across Canada. We just need to do something, because we need it to stop, because at this point, you know, the rate we're going, we're not going to be sitting at 1 in 3 and 1 in 5. We're going to be sitting at numbers like 1 in 2 and 1 in 3, you know, or 99% of people are affected by this. My hope is that, you know, if there are survivors who are watching this who haven't found their voice yet and who haven't been able to say, you know, this happened to me, that maybe it sparks something within them. And maybe they find someone they trust. So find someone you trust, you know, even if it's another survivor that you don't know well. One thing about survivors, when you connect with another survivor, there's a deeper understanding of what you're going through. No matter where you're at in your healing, whether or not it's just acknowledging that this has happened and this has taken place in your life, yeah, just say me too. I think when survivors think about telling their story, they think about getting into every single detail, and they think about having to say every little thing that happened. And the truth of the matter is, I mean, all you need to say is me too.